have just frozen over. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Bernie Sanders, yes, you heard that right, are on the same side of an issue.
Greene is breaking with many of her Republican colleagues to join Sanders' call to end the famine in Gaza. This comes after a UN-backed report that confirmed famine in parts of the war-torn Strip.
Sanders took to X over the weekend, writing, "Let's be clear, President Trump has the power to end the starvation of the Palestinian people. Instead, he is doing nothing while watching this famine unfold. Enough is enough. No more American taxpayer dollars to Netanyahu's war machine."
In the past few months, Greene has also been a vocal critic of the U.S. military and financial support of Israel. She made waves when she described the humanitarian crisis in Gaza as a genocide following the UN's report of famine. She made a lengthy post on X calling for compassion for the Palestinians. She wrote in part, "Does Hamas deserve it? Yes. Do innocent people and children deserve it? No. The innocent people in Gaza did not kill and kidnap the innocent people in Israel on October 7th.
That set off far-right influencer Laura Loomer, who posted in response, "I stand by what I've always said. Marjorie Taylor Greene is truly the dumbest, quote, person, end quote, in Congress. How can you call yourself America first and advocate for Gazans to come to the U.S.? America is full." She capped it off writing, "This woman is a fraud. Nothing America first about Islamic invasions." I do love a good Laura Loomer, Marjorie Taylor Greene fight.
Laura Loomer is a Laura Lunatic in my view. We're not saying the Gazans have to all come here, but the question is, should American taxpayers continue to be required to fund what is happening in Gaza? And that is the question that the pro-Israel side, and I'm of course sympathetic to Israel being attacked. Yep. They have the right to pursue the destruction of Hamas, but they cannot explain why American taxpayers should be paying for this. It doesn't make any sense. If they want to buy our weapons of their own volition, I even don't have a problem with that. But we give them money, and then they use that money to buy our weapons. We don't have to give them money. No one can justify that at this point. And then you see people trying to say, "Oh, well, they're not starving, or the children, they're sick and dying for some other reason because they're sick." Who is that convincing? Okay, yes, the sickest children are the ones dying first in this awful situation. That's like saying like Anne Frank actually died of some disease.
Right.
Not because,
wasn't the Nazis.
Right. What are you trying to prove here?
I can't believe I'm saying this, but and I did not read the novel length tweet by Marjorie Taylor Greene. So I'm not saying I agree with everything, but what was just read there, I actually think that she's right. Both of those things can, again, be true. Yes, Israel has a right, to your point, to work to obliterate Hamas. But also, yes, Hamas is not putting every starving-looking kid up there to be like, see? This is also not just a PR campaign. I still remember, this was a couple weeks ago, but it was like, there was a child who was obviously emaciated and passed away. And the pushback was like, that kid had a lot of underlying health conditions. Yeah. Okay, how are we,
never mind then, it's fine.
The kid had underlying health conditions. Oh, well, that's fine. Yeah, it's just, the whole thing makes no sense. And it's like,
we've destroyed so much of the region. We've killed, Israel, with our support, thousands and thousands of people. And again, I support the obliteration of Hamas. War is very ugly. Hamas is the sovereign, is the leadership of this area, and they attacked Israel, and they have not surrendered, and they're still holding hostages. Mm-hmm. So on one hand, I understand. On the other hand, it is not the U.S.'s problem. It is not something we should have to pay for. And I would say it is America first to say, why does the U.S. have to be involved in this? And there are America first contingents. Certainly the right has made America first more of a priority in terms of Trump's foreign policy views. But there also is an America first part of the Democratic left that is represented by Bernie Sanders on foreign policy. I don't agree with Bernie Sanders on tons and tons of things, but here I appreciate what he's saying, and I'm glad Marjorie Taylor Greene has been. She was in dialogue with Megyn Kelly last week, trying to sell Megyn Kelly on the idea that Israel has a lot of influence over a lot of members of Congress, and again, is it America first for our tax dollars to be spent there? Do the Americans even support doing that? And the answer is, of course, no.
No. The thing that is fascinating to me is having watched this, the sort of long arc of this is, back when social conservatives were a thing, which, and had a big voice in the party, and Mike Huckabee was, among the most prominent, the sort of primacy of supporting Israel was core to conservatism.
Yes. To social conservatives.
To social conservatives especially. And I think there is residual effect there, even though I do think, how can anyone look at what's happening in the region and be like, well, Israel can do whatever they want, and these kids are just being put up as props. Like, I get it. The argument is, well, Hamas is embedded in the community, so it's impossible to sort of, we can't pinpoint or narrowcast it to get Hamas that doesn't impact the community.
It's really tough. It's really difficult.
I mean, it's
I don't know
not
how to fix
easy,
it.
No.
And I don't have to. It's
no,
not.
That's why you
the US
have
is not
to be
involved.
the president.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Israel and.
But it is, I do think the lingering of that kind of, we support Israel no matter what conservatism continues to kind of linger in the current administration's policies.
Well, there is a split. There is an age split in terms of the right. There is a huge age split on Israel. You're right that older conservatives who are more evangelical Christian conservatives supporting Israel is a very core part of their ideology. That comes out in statements by people like Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, etc. Younger conservatives that I see online, that I've met all over the country, if they're religious, they're more likely to be Catholic converts, is what I found, for which is just a difference between the kind of evangelical Baptist love of Israel is not as prevalent among this kind of Catholic convert, younger male class that are very skeptical of Israel, if not abjectly anti-Israel. This is something that, again, people who are pro-Israel are going to have to grapple with. The level of support we give them is poisoning the whole project among young people on the right.
And I wonder, I mean, when you were talking about the differences in ages, Donald Trump is a convert, sort of, to conservatism. He's 79 years old. J.D. Vance is 41, 42. I wonder if a President Vance pursues the current policy.
Vance does. Vance, I think, believes in non-interventionism foreign policy.
Much more strongly than Trump.
I think he does hold it much more strongly than Trump. That's emerged that he has been a voice for restraint in the dealings on all sorts of the foreign policy questions they've had to confront so far. I think it's possible a Vice President Vance, if President, would have made a different call on the Iran strikes. He certainly would have made a different call that came out of the text messages, right, on the Houthis attacks.
In Yemen.
And he might have taken a firmer hand. It's hard to take a firm hand with Netanyahu because there are attempts to say, well, we're helping you, so you can only do this, this, and this, and then they do whatever they're going to do.
He does what he wants.
In the past, we had more ability to constrain Israel's behavior. Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Obama, all of those people at various times said, you've gone far enough. You have to back down on something you're doing.
Because we do I mean, this is the thing that I feel gets lost in this conversation. The U.S. does still have leverage on Israel. It's not, we don't have to do whatever Netanyahu wants.
And if we're not going to exercise leverage, then we might as well not give them aid. Well,
this is my whole point. Though aid is the leverage.
Right.
I mean, this is the leverage the U.S. has over Ukraine.
Yeah. Because
we are financing a lot of that. If we pull all that back, well, they can't litigate that war against Russia. I mean, and so I do think it's this echo of a dominant strain within, particularly social conservatism, but conservatism more broadly, about no matter what, you have to support Israel. And I do wonder, too, if the whole Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, that group, Republicans hate them, and they find common purpose in some ways, as you were mentioning, Bernie Sanders. And so it's like, well, we can't be with them because they're terrible, and they hate Israel and they hate Jewish people. And so how can we do that? How can we then say, well, they actually might, how can someone we hate might have a good idea? It's that meme, the person you like the least actually has a good idea. I'm not saying that's the case, but I wonder if the politics of it make it harder for Republicans to be like, well, like maybe
they don't want to give Ilhan Omar credit for having a good idea.
Right.
Although I think the difference is, I think people on the right would say those individuals sometimes seem, again, like they're advocating for bringing all those people here or the dispossessed. Which, again, that's not, nobody on the right is suggesting doing that. But there's a difference between being obligated to help And I would say from a philosophical point, we're not obligated to help. I'm just obligated not to cause further suffering, which is what we are implicitly doing by giving them our money.
Before we wrap, I do just think the Laura Loomer, sorry folks, America's full line. It reminds me of Vacation, where John Candy is playing the park ranger, and Chevy Chase and his family go up, and he's like, sorry folks, park's closed. The moose outside should have told you. It's like, come on, man. Like,
I've seen that movie.
I didn't know if that trended.
You had no idea what I was going to say. I've seen that movie.
I gave a little context because I never know what. Movie. Yeah. But it does. It's like, okay, I'm not saying we should take every single person. At the same time, like, America is full. Like, that doesn't.
I mean, that is the attitude on the right. I am more, our viewers know, I am much more pro-immigration than a lot of people who get...
You're more pro-immigration than more pro-immigration than Laura Loomer? Interesting.
But I guess I'm more anti-Israel than her, so I don't know where that fits me on the
I like that. Unpredictable is a good thing.
Well, I'd say I'm consistent. Other people are unpredictable.
That's right. Consistent. Everybody knows that about Robby.
Well, next up, the U.S. is purchasing a stake in the tech company Intel. Speaking of consistency, you will not be surprised to say I have deep skepticism about that, but we'll discuss people talking about whether it's a good idea or not for the government to invest billions in a private business. Stay with us.